as a broad thing about industrialization, about agriculture, about climate change, there's not much to argue with. It becomes a question of what is the particular lesson or resource that you think you're going to get from the Chinese, and what problem have you defined or identified that the Chinese connection is going to help you solve. So, for example, take agriculture. If you are going to collect more, say, tractors, okay, and come and use them in a certain agricultural system, which in my view has a lot of problems that need to be solved, the machinery may not be terribly useful, okay? So I will step back and say that beyond this, basically, the framework the minister said is an old-fashioned raw material export for value, for development model. So whichever way you twist it, it is very much based on a commodity export dependence framework. The flip side of the Chinese thing about the need to be part of the reallocation. Now, I recognize that in the transition from where we are to where we want to go in terms of industrialization, commodity exports will remain very important. But the agenda of transformation is also an agenda of diminishing your commodity export dependence. So let's take his example about bauxite. Now, a lot has been said about bauxite. But several people have pointed out, first of all, the lack of detail, and also the contradictory things which are being said. It is not clear to me how the China thing plays in relation to the bauxite. Let me explain. The much touted Sino-Hydro thing. Step back from whether it's a loan or it's a football team, okay? It is basically a commodity-based transaction. Now, if I hear the minister, we have a lot of natural resources that we can leverage to raise material resources from China. That worries me. It worries me because in this discussion, I don't get a sense about what the nature of the transformation agenda that we have and how the Chinese connection fits in. I say that because I think we are too focused on only the commodity export in exchange for Chinese finance. I think there are other elements of the relationship which could be explored. We have two people here educated in China. I mean, one of the lessons that we can take from China, for example, is how, like many countries before them who have transformed, they've learned lessons from those who went before them. The role of the state, private sector, state relations, the role of research, a strategy for international economic relations. I mean, I think there's that. Secondly, China is a subcontinental power. Ghana is a small country. In thinking about China, I haven't heard the minister, for example, introduce a regional or continental dimension to the Ghanaian thinking. There are many things as Ghana we can do with China. But there are many things as Ghana we need to think about doing with China and many other powers at either a regional or continental level. Here is Ghana, which has rushed and ratified the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. It is going to create an African market. So Sinotrack, who want to come here to establish, they see an ECOWAS custom union within which they'll be able to sell their goods. VW see an ECOWAS custom union within which they are going to be able to operate. So people are seeing they are seeing ECOWAS as an economic unit and seeing Africa as an economic unit. So our thinking should also be interested in those layers as far as our thinking. But I'm saying that primarily my worry with the minister's strategy is that I don't see the transformation agenda. I see a series of discrete issues which Chinese resources defined narrowly as financial resources are going to fit into. I don't see the agenda of structural transformation, which also is about how we are moving away from commodity dependence. Now, the reason why I stay with this is that, you see, take the bauxite thing. I've never heard any Ghanaian government official offer a projection of, say, in 30 years, what will be Ghana's aluminum consumption? In 30 years, how much aluminum will West Africa be consuming? And what are the possibilities for that as a dimension of thinking? I can tell you that ECOWAS consumes about $1 billion worth of aluminum a year. So it is even possible to think about a regional strategy between Ghana, Nigeria, and Guinea as a primary bauxite producer, even for our home market. Because this agenda of transforming our economy, the reason why China go where it is that you can see that they are consuming our minerals because their home market is growing, they are becoming a factory to the world and so on. We are constantly planning our resources in relation to how it feeds other people's transformation. And we see it as a source, not of economic activity, but as a source of financial return. Financial returns are part of what you get from economic activity, but minerals as a multiplier offer a lot more than is being put forward by this strategy. And I think we need a wider framework.